in Miami since 2002. He's the creator of the 90 point... Is limbering up. Alrighty then. You can use this. Oh, well, excuse me. Pardon me. Thank God I won on these. 90.5 WVUM radio program Pure Imagination, which features short stories and improvised narrative sets of music by Miami-based composers. Matt, are you ready? You're as ready as you'll ever be. Alright, I'm going to man the clock. And... You can do that. Alright.
We who are about to die salute you. My name was Stan. It isn't now, but it was. 2006 was the height of the Stan years. I was called Stan by maitre d's at the finest restaurants. I was called Stan by concierges at the finest hotels. I was called Stan by the finest women, often in exotic foreign accents. Stan, they cried, as they shuddered to climax. Sten, Stan, Stan. All permutations were acceptable. I rarely corrected a woman's pronunciation mid-orgasm. But sic transit gloria, glory fades, and by 2007, Stan had lost its luster. I was called Stan by waitresses at Waffle House. I was called Stan by desk clerks at pay-by-the-hour motels. I was called Stan by debt collectors, repo men, tax auditors, paternity lawyers, foreclosure servers. I was called pork pie by a homeless woman who mistook me for a man who had stolen and eaten her shoes. This was how badly my glory had faded. But I was born a Stan, not a quitter, so I filed the necessary paperwork with my clerk of court, and a month later I was Jim. Stan had had a good run, but the time had come to shift gears. The modern era presented a unique set of challenges that I felt could better be addressed as a Jim. And indeed they were. Within weeks I was called Jim by hostesses at Red Lobster and Outback Steakhouse. I was called Jim by desk agents at the Good Holiday Inn, not the one by the airport where those 4-year-olds drowned. I had Jim embossed on major credit cards. I had Jim printed on elegant stationery. I had Jim embroidered on the waistband of relaxed fit khakis purchased at 25% off from the Gap. Life as Jim was good, but it wasn't Stan good. I'd enjoy a bloomin' onion in Outback Steakhouse and think, sure, this bloomin' onion is tasty, but as Stan, I wouldn't have been blown off when I demanded the onion be cultivated, shipped, purchased, and prepared by actual Australians. I'd enjoy the lobster at Red Lobster and think, sure, this lobster is decent, but as Stan, I wouldn't have been refused the privilege to personally witness the lobster's death. I'd make love to a woman and think, sure, this lovemaking is pretty nice, but as Stan, I would have been making love to a woman 10 times prettier, and I wouldn't have had to take her to eat, pray, love beforehand, and her accent wouldn't have been so irritating that it compelled me to correct her mispronunciation of Jim during sexual climax. But there was no going back. The Stan magic was gone. My only hope for reascension was reinvention, and so I surrendered Jim to the clerk of court, and 3 weeks later reemerged as Fabio. Fabio, I felt, was the anti-Jim. As Jim, I would never have worn diamond-studded earrings, but as Fabio, I did. As Jim, I would never have bought a vanity license plate that said El Guapo, but as Fabio, I did. As Jim, I would never have unbuttoned the top 4 buttons of my work shirt and reported to Diane and HR with a fresh rose clenched between my teeth, but as Fabio, I did. But Fabio had its price. A $15 annual fee for the vanity license plate, for one. Flamenco guitar calluses, sword fights with romantic rivals, sexual harassment complaints from Diane and HR, multiple drug-resistant strains of gonorrhea. And so I returned to the clerk of court and became the anti-Fabio, Archduke Thaddeus Kensington Saxonbury by the Sea III. Dignity, temperance, wisdom, integrity, these royal virtues would guide my path. But as it turns out, paying the $200 filing fee to call yourself Archduke does not make you an actual Archduke. As it turns out, signing Archduke on your credit card receipts does not make your favorite lap dancer at Bare Necessities an Archduchess. And so distraught, I embarked on a name-changing binge. I read Moby Dick and called myself Ishmael. I heard Steely Dan on the radio and called myself Deacon Blues. I changed my name to Bruce Springsteen, and people said, "Are you the Bruce Springsteen?" And I said, "No, I'm just a Bruce Springsteen." But nothing worked. Each new name brought new disappointment, new misery, new folly. Shakespeare said a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, but I changed my name to Shakespeare, and the next day I lost the tip of my left index finger when I slammed it in the car door. I started forgetting who I was. I answered to every name or no name. I'd sit in a Panera Bread and listen to an employee announce which customers' orders were ready, and each name brought with it a fresh existential crisis. Was this me? Who was this? Who am I? And sometimes the Panera employee would say, Stan, and for a brief moment I'd brighten and think, yes, of course, that's me, Stan. But then I'd realize, this is not my iced chai tea latte. This is not my Chipotle chicken panini. This is not my strawberry granola parfait. The Stan years are over. Thank you.